I have a message for you. I have an overwhelming feeling of hope and feeling brave. And I feel this is a message that needs to be delivered. Do you need to hear it? Let's see what the cards have to say. But that is the feeling that I am getting today, that I feel that you, particularly you, need to hear. Thank you very much. We're going to be using the angel answers at the end. So if you have a question, think of a question and I will pull an angel answer card for you. So think of that question and we'll get to that in a little while. But for now, I'm going to use the Psychic Tarot for the heart. You have to be so careful. I called it the Psychic Tart a couple of days ago. And it most certainly isn't that. So it is a tarot deck with a difference. There are no court cards in this deck, meaning pages, knights, kings or queens. Thank you. Oh, we want 4 cards on the top. Thank you. Wow. Wow. And I said this what I'm feeling is an overwhelming feeling of hope and be brave. There was a song that came on, which I think was what my inspiration was. And in the song, there in the words, I don't know what the song was. I should have looked. I didn't know. It said, I've got to learn how to live with my bruises and stains. I've written it down. This is how I was feeling. Hope at the top. I've got to learn how to live with my bruises and stains. Be brave. And then I put also down the bottom here, this was a side note, even if you were the bad guy too. So what the cards are telling me straight away, we wanted 8 cards. Usually I was going to do 6, but we wanted 8. And 8 for me is that number of manifestation, which again is hope. You're putting those intentions out there. I don't know, maybe there's a feeling that I'm turning my life around, and you're never too old to turn your life around. If even if you've been the bad guy, girl, however it is you identify, but it's like it's never too late to turn your life around. Oh my God, I'm looking at these now, and these fit how I'm feeling. So let's just get on with it. Let's get on with it. So your first card here is the 9 of Swords. In this deck, this is the 9 of Swords. And this is darkest fears. This is confronting, like I've got to learn to live with my bruises and my stains. Your darkest fears. Nobody can hurt you more than you can hurt yourself, especially if you have regrets in your life. I have regrets in my life, and I'm sure many of us do. My main regrets are around the schooling age. I'm not the person then that I am now. No, I'm not the person now that I was then. You know, I have changed so much, but there's still regrets that I have. You know, and you have to live with them. I have to learn how to live with my bruises and my stains. You have to live with them. You've got to own it. And that's what this 9 of Swords is. This darkest fears is you're owning it. You're confronting it. In some aspects, it's your shadow self, yeah? It's those bits of yourself where you don't necessarily like, but they're part of your growth. They're part of what made you you. They're part of what made you realise that you want to sort of maybe teach people how to do things a different way, or I don't know. It's just looking back. It's looking back, but it is confronting your fears. Underneath it, these cards are so linked. You've got the 9 of Wands. This is confronting your fears. 9 of Wands is the wounded warrior, but you are confronting your fears. Maybe you've been doing a lot of reflection lately. Rest, reconsider is written on this card, but this is the 9 of Wands, which for me is the wounded warrior, and you are confronting your fears. And, you know, they are your darkest fears. In this card, it actually says darkest fears. I love this deck because it has such a different spin. It just has a different spin on the tarot, and that's why I love the different decks. So they are perfectly in a line. And it goes with exactly what I've written on that piece of paper before I started the reading. I'm so glad I decided to do this reading. I really am. I don't know what the title's going to be. I have such trouble thinking of a title for a bloody video. Your next card is a major arcana, and it's rebuild. This is the Tower. Now, people just don't like to get, there's two cards here people just hate getting. They hate getting them. The Nine of Swords, hate that. You know, it's like, oh no, I've got to explain the Nine of Swords. And the Tower, you got them both. Fabulous, you got them both, but I love them. I love them because progression is all about facing your fears. Yeah, I'm so into working with the shadow self. Yeah, because that's how we improve. That's on a soul level. That's what we come here to learn. That's how we come here to improve. And I do feel tower moments are good. I had a tower moment myself just a few weeks ago, and it really puts your life into perspective when the unexpected happens and you realize things can change in the blink of an eye with the flip of a coin. You know, so a tower moment for me, I love, because it illuminates those foundations and you are able then to build back stronger. I love this. I love this. Underneath that, you have the Eight of Wands, success and growth. This is what I mean about building back stronger. When your foundations are strong, when you've stripped everything bare and your foundations are strong, that's when you see, you learn from these darkest fears, because you're facing them head on, and then we can build back stronger. Sorry. I had a right tickle in my throat then. A right tickle in my throat. You got 3 9s. I've just realised you've got 3 9s. You've got the Nine of Wands, the Nine of Swords, and the Nine of Cups. That's brilliant. That's like we're completing so many things. Wonderful. Wonderful. Oh, really good. Success and growth. That's when we start to build back stronger, growing back stronger. Things start to blossom. The passion is ignited in your belly. The courage comes. Oh, loving this. Loving this. The next card we have is another major arcana, and it's the Moon. And I do feel like this is working with your shadow self. You're doing an awful lot of maybe reminiscing, or not reminiscing. No, not reminiscing. You're looking at the darker aspects of yourself. It's very much what I've written on this piece of paper. I've got to learn to live with my bruises and stains. Be brave, even if you were the bad guy too. Have you been is there a realization hitting you that maybe you could have lived your life differently? I often wonder what would have happened if I'd have done this. You know, when you have those decisions in life, I don't know, when I moved from one area to another, what if I hadn't? If I'd have stayed where I was, where would my life have gone then? What if I'd have done my nursing in America? I was offered to do my nurse training in America, but I stayed in England and done my nurse training in England. Where would my life have gone? What would have been different? Have you been feeling like that? Have you been thinking about different scenarios? Has anybody watched, I can't remember what it's called, I think it's Dark Matters, and I think it's on Amazon. It's either on Amazon or Apple TV or Amazon, and it's about parallel lives. It really gears up sort of the 3rd or 4th episode, but it's a bit slow before that. I can't wait for him to bring out another one about parallel lives and about the decisions that you make. But then there's a version of you that actually goes to live there. So there's a version of me in America, say, or there's a version of me that didn't move from this area to that area, you know, parallel lives. It often makes me feel like that. But is this how you're feeling? It's like, what if moments. What if I'd have done this? You can't live with what ifs. You have to live in your present. And the moon is quite a dreamy energy. And I feel like that's like, what if? What if I'd have done this? What if I hadn't met that person? What if I'd have met that person? But you can't live like that. Just, I guess in a way, you've got to think there is a version of yourself that could be. I believe that anyway. I believe that. But don't get stuck in the what ifs. I think that's the biggest thing from that piece of paper. What I've written down is I've got to learn how to live with my bruises and my stains. That's also about you've got to learn how to live with the choices that you've already made, because you can't unmake those choices that you've already made. However, you can make better choices moving forward. But if you stay in this dreamy moon energy of what if, I do like it. It's good because we learn from that for sure. But we can also self-sabotage our future by keeping ourselves locked into that with the Eight of Swords here. Now, the Eight of Swords is sort of feeling all tied up, helpless, hopeless. Yeah, but it's you keeping yourself in that. The Eight of Swords is very much a self-sabotaging energy. I'm coughing at moments where I feel like that's confirmation. There's nothing keeping this person here from walking towards that sunrise. Nothing between those two peaks. Nothing keeping them there. It's almost like locked in syndrome. I'm just refusing to move forward. But maybe now there's a realization that I've got to. Maybe you've had to hit this stage for this tower moment to happen, to then confront your darkest fears. Your last two cards are amazing. By the way, so you've got another 9. This is where I say we're completing lots of things. But I feel like this last completion is like you accepting yourself for who you are. Warts and all. Wobbly bits and all. Warts and all. Those deepest, darkest parts of yourself are you. They made you who you are today. Those most positive, brightest, lovable parts of yourself are you. They also made you are who you are today. Okay? You finish here on the 9 of Cups. So this is making a wish. Make a wish right now. Start thinking of your question for the angels, all right? But make a wish right now, because this is a wish fulfillment, dreams coming true. Okay? There's a lot of facing your fears, confronting your fears, rebuilding those foundations, rebuilding. It's like you can't change the past, but you can change the way you think about the past. But there's nothing you can do to change the past, but you can change the way you do that you think about it. And that's very much this. It's like, bang, let's knock down all these walls now that we've built up over the years. Let's kick them down. Yeah? Kick them down and rebuild back stronger. Be that person that you needed way back when. Oh, don't do that. Do it like this. Or I'm here for you. You know, what did you need to hear at that age? What did you need? Looking back, how could you have changed things? How could things have been different? And program your mind to go back into that time. Hypnotherapy is great for that, by the way. But I love this. Anyway, I've waffled. 1444, as I said that. It's a confirmation for me. We've got the 9 of Cups here. So make a wish. This is a beautiful, this is a dreamy energy. This moon is a dreamy energy, which is kind of an energy I feel a bit stuck in. But this is a dreamy energy of hope, and that is the biggest first word that I wrote on this card here. This piece of paper, not card. I love that these connect. I really do. But this is the biggest message here, is hope. Dreams coming true. I love that. Underneath that card, we have the Ace of Swords. Look at that. Clarity of belief. Believe in yourself. It doesn't matter what has happened in the past, who you were in the past, what you've done in the past, what's happened to you in the past. It doesn't matter. Not being harsh, but it doesn't. It's gone. You can't change it. It's part of who you are. Some of you will be like, no, that's not part of who I am. No, but it is. You have learned from it, put barriers up from it, created a shell around yourself. However way you want to word it, it's happened. Can't change the past. Can't change it. But you can change the way you think about it. Everything that's happened to me, good, bad, has made me who I am today. Everything has made me who I am today. Certain things I've changed the way I think about it, because that's how you deal with things. But it's made me able to help more people because I can relate to more people. That's the way I look at it. Always bring a positive out of even negatives that happen to you. Any negatives that could happen to you, have happened to you. There's always a positive in there if you're hopeful enough to find it. It was the last thing left in Pandora's box. There's got to be a message in there somewhere, don't you think? Don't you think? Shall I tell you where I got the Be Brave from? Everything I do before a reading, during a reading, it all gets included in a reading. So the song that was on as I was getting myself set up, and I heard the lyrics, I've got to learn how to live with my bruises and stains. So that had to go down. Before that, I was feeling an overwhelming feeling of hope. Maybe it was because of the song I was listening to. So they both got written down. Be Brave. I was putting new batteries in my little fairy lights here, but you still can't really see what's on there. And I've got crystal jars. This is my altar. This is where all my personal things go on and all of that. And I've got citrine dragon guarding some money, and that's for multiplication and all of that sort of stuff. Anyway, I've got crystal jars that I've made, and this one here I made, and it's got clear quartz in the bottom, amethyst, and green aventurine. And I've called it Be Brave. You can see that. Can't see me, there's a little tag, but it's Be Brave. And this lives on my altar. It's my crystal jar, and it's got what I want inside it. Yes, it's about Be Brave. Be brave, be bold, and it sits next to my carnelian, and my carnelian is about bravery and courage as well. So it sits on my shelf there. And oh, that's my children. Be brave, Claire, be brave. School holidays here. Got to be brave. We're going to the cinema. Right. And that fell off. As I was changing my battery, that Be Brave fell off. So I picked it up because I want to be brave. My son is outside in the rain. Anyway, we're nearly finished. So that's where the Be Brave came from. And then I just got a message about even if you were the bad guy. So even if you've had regrets in your life, what can you do? You've done it. You've done it. So you can have the regrets, but you've done it. At the end of the day, it's done. So you can be sorry about it. And maybe you can show that you're sorry about it in some way. Or maybe if it's towards another person, you can contact that person and say, do you remember 30 years ago, I so sorry. There's nothing wrong with that. However that's resonating for you. But clarity and belief is your last card. I love these last two cards. I love these cards as well. Don't get me wrong, I do. I love that we're coming to completion in a lot of things. You've got 999. Maybe you've had some help. Maybe you've had some counselling to do this. 2020, as I said that. 222, as I said that. So I like that. You've got 144, 2020, 222. I'll try and remember them. Oh, let me write them down. 144, 2020, 222. So, yeah. Right, let us get you an angel answer. So think of a question. Now, please bear in mind that there is some cards in here that say yes and no. That's it. So try and be specific with your question and not have two questions in one. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I do. Okay. I'm going to shut my eyes because I know the colour of the backs are the ones that are yes and no. And I don't want to be influenced by that. So I'm just going to shut my eyes and then I will pick one when I feel like I'm going to want to pick one. Thank you. Right, are you ready? Oh, big, happy changes. So that's a lovely answer. Big, happy changes. Okay, and I'm going to get you a month of the year as well from this tea leaf deck, which is just months of the year. Just months of the year. That one there, thank you. September, and it was 222 as I said that as well. September. Could that be September this year? Could that be September the 22nd or the 2nd? September. 222 again as I turn around. Oh. Could it be the 22nd of September, the 2nd of September? September. 22 could be important. 222. I'm going to write 22 down. Got a lot of twos. A lot of twos here for you. That's your reading. I hope you enjoyed that. Please do like, comment, subscribe. I have so much love for all of my subscribers. I'm a new channel trying to grow. I've got star sign readings that are in the playlists, all sorted out nice and neatly. Go and check them out if you haven't already. Thank you so much for visiting, stopping by, and I hope you enjoyed your message. Much love.